I have an oven control board from Frigidaire, and the oven seems to be having issues with the baking element turning on properly. So we're going to be opening it up and taking a look at the circuit boards and see if we can resolve that issue. So taking a quick look, I'm not really seeing any damage or anything that's obvious on the board. Taking a look at the back, I am actually seeing something right here, which will look under the microscope. It definitely looks like there's some burning going on here. So this is the back side of one of the relays, and it looks like the pin is completely loose. It is not even really making contact with the joint. So that is most likely the cause of our issue. Now, I don't know if this relay is actually damaged and if the relay itself also needs to be replaced. Typically, we do see that quite often. So I am thinking that the relay is probably okay and we just need to resolder this, but let's verify. So in order to test the relay, I'm going to remove it from the circuit board. So let's go ahead and start desoldering. All right. Okay, I'm going to start by adding some new solder that is leaded to make it a little bit easier to desolder the existing solder that's on there. And this one's a little tricky. I've never had to solder at an angle like this. Okay, I think that was good. Oh, actually I think it just fell out. Let me just finish cleaning this up. So let's take a closer look at the relay here and see what it looks like. This was the pin that was burnt on the board, but it looks to be in perfectly fine condition here on the relay itself. So I don't think there's really any damage, like I was saying, to the relay itself. So we have 4 pins on our relay, the 2 larger ones and the 2 smaller ones. The 2 smaller ones are the ones we're going to want to focus on. So with our DC power supply, we're going to be applying 9 volts to those 2 smaller pins. And my understanding is that there is no polarity, so it doesn't matter which side we put, positive or negative. And essentially we're just going to put that voltage and see if the relay clicks. If it does, that'll be an indication that it is still working. Oh, and I just heard it click. So it does have functionality. That means that we do not have to replace this piece. We can just go ahead and solder it right back onto the board and we'll be good to go. Do we have our scratch pen or no?
Mine. I don't think you ever had one over there.
Or was this mine and you took it? Before I reinstall the original relay, I'm actually going to expand our joint over here so I can have a little bit more solder connecting to the joint and hopefully have a little bit of a stronger bond. So I'm going to remove some of the coating. And then a little bit more with my scratch pen, which is just fiberglass. Now we're going to go ahead and resolder the component back in. And I'm going to come back to it in just a second. We're going to do a few of the other joints first. And I'm going to hang out on it just for a couple extra seconds to make sure that all of the metals between just the leg of the component, the copper on the board, get really hot. The hotter they get, the better the bond with the solder. And we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to add just a little bit more on this one. All right, and that should do it. One final cleanup. All right, so it looks like this relay is now fixed. There's no more problems. However, one of the things we can tell here is that there's multiple of them. So I'm gonna take a closer look at the other one to make sure there's no cracked solder joints or the beginnings of one. And we're gonna zoom in a little closer here. And I wanna say that I'm actually seeing what could be the beginnings of a little bit of a crack right here. It's right there at the tip of my tool. It doesn't look quite right. So what I'm going to do is, even though right now it's not an issue, we're going to want to solder that up a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is the same thing. I'm going to add a little bit of fresh solder first, then we'll go ahead and remove it, and then I'll resolder it with all new solder. And again, just going to hang out on the joint for a couple extra seconds, and that should be good. we'll do the same over here, which this one I actually don't think has any cracks, but we're already here, might as well. It's only gonna take a couple seconds. All right, and that should do it. So we're all set. We just need to put it back together, give the customer a call, let them know that the repair is completed. If you liked the video, if you enjoyed the content, leave us a like and subscribe. And if you do have one of these modules you need to send in for repair, we'll have information for that in the description below. Thanks for watching.